So this is Dan of Vagabond Awake here in Puerto Escondido. Today we have a guest, TravelMamaAnnaVon YouTube channel. Her name is Anna. She lives here in Puerto Escondido. She spends about 2,000 Canadian a month, which is 1,500 US. Let's hear her story. And I have the good fortune today to speak with Anna of TravelMamaAnnaVon, which is right here on the screen.
TravelMamaAnnaVon.
And that's her YouTube channel name. And I've been watching her for a couple of years. And she has a very interesting take on life and stuff. And so I enjoy watching her. But she also lives in Puerto Escondido, where we are today. And so I invited her on my channel and to ask her some questions about what it's like living here and whatnot. And so that's what we're doing today. So where are you from, Anna, originally?
Well, I was born in Canada, but now I usually just answer that question as I was born in Canada because I haven't had any real tie to it for over a decade, and I don't really care what happens there. So I don't keep up to date with their gossip.
Right. Okay. And so you do carry a Canadian passport, and
I have a Canadian passport, and in January I'll be up for my Mexican passport.
Oh, cool.
And my daughter has both.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's great. So what countries have you lived in or visited in your life? You're a world traveler, I would call it.
I've been to a lot of countries. I've been to like over 30 countries.
Okay.
And I started traveling young, so I've been to a lot of countries that are like, I was there, you know, like I went all through Europe before the Euro, when it actually was like diverse and fun and affordable and exciting and artistic and whatever, you know?
Right.
It's obviously a very different place now.
Right.
And I went to Asia, you know, not in the early 2000s when it was like really, really hot for Southeast Asia, but pretty early on. So there's a lot of places that like they don't exist anymore. I saw them and now they're over.
Right.
But for living, I haven't really lived in that many countries. I moved to the States when I was 18 to go to school. And that's it. That's the only time I ever lived there. I've never gone back. I lived in England also for school for a year. In like late 90s. I lived in Indonesia for a while in Bali, and I've lived in Nicaragua, Guatemala, and Mexico here in Latin America.
Very nice, very nice. So,
yeah.
All places we hope to go on this trip, the Central American ones.
Yeah.
I've been to most of them, but Panama, but Chung hasn't been to.
Is Panama open now?
No, I'm not sure any of them are open now.
Oh yeah, Guatemala and Nicaragua's never closed.
Okay. Guatemala's
open. El Salvador's definitely a no-go.
Oh yeah.
Not open.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Nothing is open there right now. There's a long haul there.
Not for the same. So how long have you been living here in Puerto Escondido, Mexico?
We moved here officially last June.
June.
Just over a year. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I saw one of the videos I saw along the way was the one where you decided to purchase a house, and that seemed like about a year ago or so. And so it's just a year you've been here. I thought you'd been here longer.
No, we moved here in June with the intention of staying for a year, and I just found the house 2 months later. Like that was just a fluke. Okay.
And so you live here with your daughter Luna, is that right? And how old is she now?
Luna's almost 4. She'll be 4 in November.
Okay. So on your YouTube channel, TravelMamaAnnaVon, you have been, as I said, all over the world. What are the qualities that made you say, when you found Puerto Escondido, that you were like, you know what, I've seen a lot of places and I really like this place? What is it about PE that really made you think that?
It's such a good question because it's something that I've asked a lot of people that live here as well. And what I've seen is that there's a commonality among people that live here. So, and I have it as well. Like, there's honestly nothing special about this place. There's nothing standout. It has an awkward layout. It has very low tourism. You absolutely have to speak Spanish to come here. There's a lot of like sort of day-to-day annoyances about living here because it's not set up for foreigners. It's not set up for tourists, really. It doesn't have any of that. So there's a certain kind of person that comes here, and I fit the bill. I meet a lot of people that have traveled all over the world, and there's something very meat and potatoes about here. Like as much as it's not anything special, it's also got all the things you need. It's like there's something very like meat and potatoes, just like very bland, very easy, very low drama about here. This is like a place you go after you've seen a lot and you're just looking for some downtime, some chill time. There's a lot of young families here. This is the time that you live at the beach, right? Before you really care about, like, before your kid is like, I don't know, really into something that you can't get access to, like high-level violin lessons, or, you know, some kind of sculpture class or whatever, right? Like, there's lots of stuff that doesn't exist at the beach, but like, what a great place for a 2-year-old.
Right.
And the reason I moved out here specifically was because we were just moving around looking for places to live, and the thing with Mexico is, like, every little crappy town has everything you need. So, like, every town has a great Montessori school and an airport, and it's a pueblo mágico, and it's safe and clean and easy and affordable, like, and people are cool. And every town has some history, and it's like, the more you see, the more there is to see. Yeah. So we kind of got, and then we were in Asia, and like, I just got burnt out. I was like, we have to go somewhere and stay for a year. Like,
put down some roots. Yeah.
I didn't know if I wanted roots, but I was like, I want to stay for a year. Like, I need to commit. I need to stop moving. And we were in Thailand. Luna learned to swim, and our life at the beach in Thailand was super boring for me as an adult. We were on this little island my friend had opened a restaurant on, and we just went for a month. But it was really good as a family. It was just like super easy, don't need a lot of clothes, just go to the beach. It's like, it's easy life. And I thought, well, we'll move to the beach in Mexico. I'd been here a few times, and I never really thought much of Puerto Escondido. Every time I'd ever come here, I was like, wow, this is like a bullshit town with an airport. That's what it's got, an airport, you know? And then when I wanted to move here, I was like, we're going to go to Puerto Escondido. And the main draw for me was that it didn't have a lot of tourists. I wasn't interested in being around tourists. It didn't have a lot of tourists. It didn't have a lot of expats. It didn't have a lot of that. It had a lot of tourism here is from Mexico City. It had a lot of Mexican tourists and Oaxaca City. And it also has a very interesting real estate market. You can rent here year-round, because the tourism we do have is year-round. We have surf tourism in the summer, and we got, fat old Canadians down here getting away from the winter in the winter, right? Yeah. But it's like, it's this nice thing year-round, and there's not enough housing for the amount of people that come. And I was really looking to buy a house, and I thought, I have no idea where I want to live, but at least if I buy a house here, if I don't want to stay, I can rent it out year-round. Because I was looking to build an asset for my daughter.
I see.
So I was like, okay, well, we'll go there and we'll buy a house. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Puerto Escondido and buy a house. I had no plans of anything really more than that. But within like 3 months of being here, I was like, we're going to live here a long time. And I haven't said that really about anywhere in a long time.
And you still feel good about it now after a year?
People come here and they just don't leave.
Okay, good. And I noticed in one of your videos you talked about some of the hassles with buying real estate, and that what you did is just put your house in your daughter's name in order to avoid those hassles. Is that
right? Well, I mean, right? You can put it in, you can, like some places, so if you look at real estate in a place that's built for real estate, right? That's built for tourists, like the government has designated places that foreigners can go, right? Those places are really easy to get fideicomisos, which is essentially the bank owns it. It's owned in a trust.
It's like a bank trust. Yeah.
Right. Here it's a little bit more difficult to get one because they don't have like these services available to people. Right. Like you don't come to Puerto because you're looking to buy a cheap house.
This is Dan of Vagabond Awake. Please like this video, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. We'd sure appreciate it. Thanks so much.
You come to Puerto because you want to live in Puerto Escondido. And then you go through all the crap you have to go through in any town, you know?
And your daughter was born in Mexico.
Yeah, she's Mexico.
So she's can Mexican. Have a house in her name. Right?
Yeah, she's Mexican, and since it would just go to her in my will anyway, like for me, so the drawback of putting it in her name is that I'm not allowed to sell it till she's 18, and then she has to sell it. Right. So you run the risk of, who knows what will happen when she's 18 and what she's going to want to do with it. Right. But for me, it's like the house is yours. If you want to sell it and buy drugs and take off, that's what you're going to do. If you want to go to university, you can do it. If you want to keep it, you can keep it. If you want to sell it when you get married and buy another house, you can do that. Right. But like the house is yours. Like I will take care of it to a certain age, probably 21, and then it's yours, baby. Yeah. She can either keep throwing money into a house at the beach, which is like literally you could just take your money outside and set it on fire if you wanted to. Right. It's like it's insane how much because the climate just destroys everything. Like whenever people are like, I can't wait to build a house on the beach, all I think about is like how much it's going to get destroyed.
Yeah, because the heat and the salt water.
Yeah,
and the wind
you get the salt water and the wind on top of the heat and the humidity. Like I just have where I live, we're not on the beach, so I just have the heat and the humidity.
Yeah.
And I always think like, thank God I didn't get anything near the beach. Like classic gringo mistake, you know? And I would have made it for sure. Like, but it's got such a pretty view.
Yeah.
People's like computers rust out from living near on the beach.
Yeah. So one of the things our listeners are always curious about, because of my channel, is about retiring and cheap in paradise, is cost of living. Do you have any idea, like, roughly what your monthly budget is? Like,
my budget's always $2,000, no matter where I am. That's my budget, 2,000 Canadian.
Okay.
That's what I budget.
Okay.
So sometimes it goes a bit more, and sometimes a bit less. But like that's what I go for. Like I don't, you know, there's sort of like a going rate for daycare in the world. There's like a going rate for, you know, if you need someone to help you with cooking and cleaning or whatever. There's a pretty like international rates on things, and I just like stick with those.
Okay. And do you know, like, do you have a mortgage payment?
I don't pay a mortgage. There's no such thing as a mortgage here. You got to buy a house in cash.
Okay.
You buy it outright. Okay. If you want to get a loan, which I get a private loan, get it from your home country, because loans here carry like 40% interest. They're like insane.
That is insane. Yeah.
It's insane, and it's not. It's a loan system set up like the way India has loan systems set up. Like, you know, you send a MoneyGram and they take 50% of it, right? It's like it's not set up for people with money. It's set up for people who don't have money, so it takes advantage of them.
Right.
And if you are somebody that has enough credit in another country to get access to $100,000 line of credit or a loan, do it that way, because I'm carrying a line of credit at 2.7%.
Oh wow.
The 𝐕𝐾𝐆 you get through the bank, you just have to hire a lawyer to do it, and then you have to hire a lawyer to get out of it. So when you become a citizen, you're going to want to buy your way out of that. You're going to want to own your house outright. I didn't like the idea of a 𝐕𝐾𝐆. Even when it was explained to me, I was like, no, a Mexican bank's not going to own my home.
Yeah.
No. Like, my trust in the system, period, in the world is none. But here, where I didn't even have a passport, I was like, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah. So what would you say you spend per month on groceries?
I have no idea. I have no clue what I spend on groceries. I usually take about 4,000 pesos out of the bank a week and hope that it lasts a week. And I always have something come up where I have to go back just like a day early. But that's always my goal.
Is that for everything?
Yeah.
That's sort of your carry cash?
That's for everything, yeah.
So that's 800 a month roughly every week? So
I do 4,000 pesos a week.
Which is 200 a week US.
Yeah, I don't know what it is US. It's like, 350 Canadian.
Okay.
And that's what I like live on a week, and that's what I pay for like Luna's daycare for, and if I want a massage.
Yeah. Okay. So the number you quoted of 2,000, was that Canadian?
Yeah.
Okay.
I live on roughly, so between like 1,800 and 2,500. That's like I would say it's like roughly 2,000. That's the mark I look for.
Okay. Okay, so that's Canadian. I'll adjust it.
That's
on screen
rent
here,
and everything.
Okay. Do you own a car, or do you use taxis or colectivos, or?
I don't use colectivos because I'm always too impatient to wait, and I don't like waiting in the sun. Like if I get there and the collectivo's there, I'll jump in.
Right.
But usually I do taxis. Taxis here are really affordable.
Yeah.
And I have a moto. I don't drive it on the carretero though because it's like an old beater.
Okay.
For me, like I do everything simply. Like I just like wait for the opportunity to come along.
Wait for it to come to you.
Yeah, I wait for the opportunity to come along. My friend, I wanted to get a moto or something. My first 6 months I was here, I had a bicycle, which would have been fine, except the heat wears you out.
Yeah.
And the heat is the thing that's the problem here. I mean, it's not a problem, but it's the challenge.
From 12 to 4 or 5.
All day. Some days at 9 a.m. Half the year at 9 a.m. you're already like, shit, how am I going to get stuff done? So, let's say you have 10 things you want to do in a day. Like, you're probably only going to get 5 done because the heat will kill those other 10. And you need naps and you need downtime. Like, there's a reason people take downtime.
I hide indoors from like maybe 1 o'clock until 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Maybe sleep, relax, whatever.
Yeah, and sometimes like if you got to be out running errands in the middle of the day, you get home, you're just wiped out. And so because of that, I wanted a moto so I could get around easier and quicker and spend less time in the sun.
Yeah, that's smart.
But I just waited for my friend was selling one secondhand, and I was like, all right, price is right, comes with papers, good to go.
So do you carry health insurance?
No, at present, no. And that's because I want to get health insurance, but the company I spoke with that I have my house insurance with is a German company, And I don't, initially I went to them because they were somebody used them, and I was like, well, I have to get earthquake insurance here. So I got that right away, and I pay annual for that. And then I just thought, well, I'll get their medical too. But I just didn't like any of their packages. Like, I wanted something from each package. I think for me, I want to make sure that if anything happens to me, I get airlifted to the DF because Mexico City has like some of the best doctors in the world.
That's medical tourism world there in Mexico City, right?
Well, I mean, and they just have fantastic surgeons, and I mean, a top of the line everything, you know?
Yeah.
So I want to go there. Like, if I break my neck, I want that surgeon, right?
Yeah, right.
But here, the way it works is it's like you can buy different layers, but if I get that, I have to pay quite a lot more, and it's like it only gets me that. It doesn't get me anything else that I can't. So I actually thought about shopping around, and then coronavirus happened, and I was like, well, who knows if they even insure people anymore. So I just haven't looked back into it, to be honest.
Okay.
Honestly, healthcare's so affordable here that, like...
You mean you just pay as you go in the meantime? Yeah,
I pay as I go. I mean, I text my doctor on the phone. And there's clinics here where you can get pretty much every, scrape and whatever. And, I mean, if you go... Like, a friend of mine cut her face open for the hospital surfing. She had a big cut here.
From her board?
No, she hit the ground. Hit something underneath.
Okay.
Anyway, or maybe it was her board. Anyway, she sliced her face open. She gets there, and he does like an invisible stitch in it. So it's just one stitch on either end. So completely healed, no scar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's like some amazing surgeon, just happens to be at Ángel del Mar in this little thing. And so for her x-rays, her sewing up, and the medication she had to take because she had a concussion, it costs her the equivalent of 75 Canadian bucks.
Yeah.
So it's like when those are the prices, like those are the types of emergencies we're dealing with, right? Why pay $1,500 a month to be airlifted somewhere? Like sometimes I'm like, this is what visas were made for.
Right.
You know, as long as everyone I know knows that I want that, like, then they'll get my visa out and take me, you know? So yeah, it's why I haven't done it, because there isn't a lot of pressure to get it done.
Yeah, I lived in Southeast Asia, well, all over the world really, for a decade without health insurance. I really only bought it about 6 months ago because I had been to Thailand and I already found out what it costs for a heart attack, a stroke, cancer, and I realized I could pay out of my pocket and I'll pay it off in 5 years, where if I buy insurance for 5 years, I don't have any credit towards the problem happening, and I'm healthy, so it's a risk, and I can afford it if it happens.
Well, that's what you have to weigh out, is like, is it worth it to pay monthly? And because I'm paying for me and Luna, you know, I've thought, well, I don't want something to happen to me, and then, you know, I end up incurring debt towards her, right? Like, I don't want that to happen either. So I just haven't found the plan. Like, I found plans that work for her. I just haven't found the one that works for my type of crazy, what I want. Yeah.
So what are your favorite 3 places to go for a healthy, cheap meal? And what do the meals cost there, roughly?
I think the thing is that if you want to eat cheap, I mean, you can eat cheap all over Mexico and eat healthy stuff. It is healthy food, right? It's beans and rice tortillas, handmade salsas, like, you know, you can even get hand tortillas. So all the comedors are good, all of that, all the típico places, they're all good, and they're all really affordable, and you eat for under 100 pesos. Yeah. You know, that's drinks in. So there's a ton of places like that. I would say, like, the places that are my favorite, that I usually think of them more as, like, I can't believe how good they are. Yeah. The value for what they are is, like, I love Sativa, which is in Zicatela. It's in this really touristy spot, but they're like 90 pesos for a mezcal. They've got some things on the menu, like little apps and stuff that are like 60 pesos. Like, the pricing is so low, and it's right on the beach. Whereas there's places that are serving like chicken fingers for 300 pesos on the beach. Or if you go to Manzanillo, it's like a minimum 300 peso buy. So I think that's like a gem. It's like really quality places, or really quality food, with like this really affordable price and wonderful atmosphere, you know? Another place I really like, I go to a cafe by my house called Café Azul. It's just a little garden cafe, but it's like the only thing in Bacocho, and it's a great little oasis that's like hidden away, and it's all just típico food, and I've never paid more than 100 pesos there for me to eat. I mean, I ate there this morning for me and Luna for 88 pesos.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And it's like, you know, they got a little kids area for playing, and they all know her name, and there's kids, and, you know, and there's plants, and it's just nice. It's nice. A lot of Mexicans go there too, so it's really like mixed in nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, I would say those are my 2 top spots. I can't think of anywhere else that I really love.
No, that's great. So let's say that you want to go out and celebrate and you want to splurge. What would be the 1 or 2 places you'd want to go to really good food, and what would it cost?
There's a place I haven't been to yet, but it's the best place in town. It's called, oh my god, I always screw this up. Amadus or something? Shit. Daniel Amadus or something. It's on the Rinconada, and it's the chef's restaurant. He's the chef. It's like, I can text it to you later.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Amadus or something. It's like apostrophe Adus.
Okay.
But that's like the best restaurant in town, bar none. And everyone I know who come, whether they're foreign or local or whatever, whether they're older or younger, whenever they've been there, I say, what did you think? And they're like, best one in town.
Oh, cool.
Everyone gives it the same review. So I haven't been there yet. I've tried to go a couple times, and they had we had a blackout on the Rinconada. Another time I had to cancel because of the rain. Like, it was just reasons beyond my control, comedy of errors. So that's definitely the best restaurant in town. A place I really like to go is in La Punta. It's called Chicama. It's the only place in town that has a bit of a bar vibe. There's no bars here, which sucks. Because it's not a real tourist place, locals don't really go out to bars in the way that we go out to bars, right? And the people that sort of drive the market here are either weekend warriors from the city that are just like here to party, or they're young backpackers, and it's like they come out at 1 a.m. and they want to go to nightclubs with electronic music. Like, I'd rather die.
Yeah, me too.
I'd rather die.
Me too.
Like, it's not worth it to stay up till that time, you know? But there's no like local bar, you know, where you can show up. Like, they're open 6 days a week from 6 to 12, and they only play like old rock and, you know, or whatever, Mexican banda, and it's like you can get beer and mezcal. It's just like simple, easy. Like, there's no.
I would call those a dive bar. There's no dive bar.
But it's not even a dive bar. Like, they don't have a beach bar like that. They don't have any bar like that.
Okay.
So Chicama has become my, like, when I have a night off from Luna, I go out there. It's Peruvian. The food is amazing.
Oh, cool. Peruvian.
It's the best ceviche in town, bar none. Nobody can even hold a candle to it.
Oh, wow, great tip.
It's great. And they have a bar, and they actually have a cocktail menu. Actually, my friend Josh from Canada made the cocktail menu. He's a mixologist. They have a real bartender. They have music. It's got a vibe, you know? Like, you can go eat at the bar and have a drink and, like, be an adult and talk to some people.
Right on.
It's really, like, easy. It's very lacking in this town. So I love Chicama has, like, come in and filled a void.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So what are the places you think of when you just want to go people watch somewhere? Can you think of it?
Esperin's good. I mean, you don't people watch, but it's got $1 million view of 𝐂𝐒 of the bay.
Okay.
La Esperin. It's a restaurant in a boutique hotel that looks out over the cliff into 𝐂𝐒.
Okay.
It's a good brunch spot.
When you're sitting on the beach, is it like you look up to the left?
Yeah, if you look up to the and there's a staircase that goes up. It's that place, La Esperin. It's not people watching, but it sure has a view.
View watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's like watching TV. You just look out at the ocean forever, like totally mesmerized.
Right.
And then I think, you know, La Punta at sunset is worth it. I would say it's worth going out there because people really worship sunset there. So a lot of people like come out to watch the sunset there.
Okay.
It's like a thing people do in La Punta. And there's like hippies drumming and like it smells like weed, and people are selling space cake.
Throwing fire in the air and all
that. Like not so much like Goa, India, like or like Thailand, like not that far, unfortunately. But it's like it's a thing. You know, if you want to just go at sunset, have a drink at one of the bars all the way at the point, there's a place called Punta Puerto, which is it's literally set up to look out at the sunset, and there's always like people around. And there's kids, and there's these guys that do like a circus school, and like it's a circus. It's just like it's the most circusy you'll get out here.
Is that mainly weekends or is it all
the time, every day?
Oh, cool. Thanks for watching our video. Click the link in the notes below this video to get a copy of this content. Plus, grab a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 13 Years. While you're there, check out our catalog of retired cheap reports all over the world and our hobby income course that we just released. Thanks so much.